Hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the Computer America Show. As always, Ben and I have a terrific show planned for you. In the second hour, we'll be doing computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, we're going to have Canary Connect here. And if you don't know what that is, they make a product called Canary. And they're billing it as the perfect security system for every home. But there are a lot of security systems out there, and we're going to find out what makes Canary different. This is an all-in-one home security system that you control from your your cell phone. So it's going to be really cool. We're going to talk all about it. So sit back, relax. As we
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
2 hours
4,
of Computer America.
3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Well, hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers, computers and technology. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And welcome into a Thursday edition of the Computer America Show. We have a terrific show planned for you, as always. In the second hour, we'll be bringing to you computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, get your security hat on, because we're going to be talking to a company called Canary Connect, and they make a really cool product. I've had a little hands-on with it myself, called the Canary. It's just Canary. It is an all-in-one home security system that you control from your smartphone. It has high-definition video. It has intelligent alerts, audio and video directly to your phone. I mean, it's a really cool product. Now, look, there are a lot of security products out there, and we're seeing more and more of them as we get into the Internet of Things, the connected home.
I think the key here in this field is how do you make yourself, or how do you stand out from the rest? Because
that's right.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask the question, why Canary, to our guest today, Mr. John Carter, who is the head of communications for Canary. We'll get to him shortly. But if you have a comment or a question, we'd love to hear from you. Pick up the phone, give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. We also, if you don't want to go on the air, but you still have a question or a comment, head over to our website, ComputerAmerica.com. In the upper right-hand corner of any page at our website, it says submit a question. It's a link. Just click it. It'll take you to a question submission page. You can type in whatever you like, hit the submit button, and Ben and I will see what you've typed instantaneously. It's just that easy. The other thing we invite you to do is watch our show. We are a radio broadcast, but it is the 21st century, and now we provide live video streaming of our show. Now, you won't be able to see our guest today. He's not participating in that, but Ben certainly is. Ben not only is there, you can see him, his smiling cherubic face, but
cherubic.
Yes.
Isn't that like an art style from like the Renaissance era where they had like little cherub babies kind of flying around, little cherub angels?
Yeah, that's it.
Ouch.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, and all the ladies just shut off this like, yeah, cherub. That okay. Yeah, we want burly, but cherub is okay, whatever.
He has a beard. He looks older.
Thank you.
Yes, there you go. But there you go. You can not only see him, but Ben has the technology to display websites that we're talking about, videos, movies, links, that type of thing. So you can see everything we're talking about as well as hear everything we're talking about. And again, the way you participate in that is just head over to our website, again, ComputerAmerica.com. Any page, you'll see the menu bar. On there is the show lounge selection. You just click that. You'll be taken to our live video stream. You'll join the show already in progress, and you not only can hear everything, you can be able to see everything as well. So we make that available to you. But of course, the easiest thing is pick up the phone, give us a call, 347-884-8881. So, my true big friend, anything anything else you'd like to talk about?
Wow, you really are a master of technology because you figured out how to push all those buttons so quickly. That's shocking. Yeah. So, okay. Other than everything Craig just rattled on about, of course, like Craig said, check out computeramerica.com. It's where we're going to post all of the reviews that we do, all of the articles that we write, all of the videos that we do. You know, everything is all centered around computeramerica.com. And of course, you can listen to our show on any streaming service you may have available to you. We are like literally inches from getting into like we're already on the Google Play Store, you know, the Google Music Store. So we're there. We just need to work out one little kink, and then we're good to go there. But yeah, you know, Facebook and all that kind of stuff, iTunes, of course. Find us all over the place, and of course, stick around for the second hour for computer and technology news.
Yeah, and if you want to find the networks that we're on, you can. We always have that up on the computeramerica.com. In fact, everything you need to know about our radio broadcast.
That's what I just said. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, stick around for the second hour as well because we do computer and technology news. That is, of course, you know, daily. You know, new daily. So it's not like we were talking about something that happened a month ago. It's everything is as current can be, and yeah, please stick around for that. But also stick around for the first hour because you know, we really love our time with our guest, and this, you know, and Canary looks like a really good company to talk to. So yeah, stick around.
All right, well, let's do it. I mean, Canary, as I mentioned, is the all-in-one home security system you control from your phone. It's built to learn and sends intelligent alerts with high-definition video and audio directly to your phone. Canary is the only all-in-one home security system that lets you see what's happening at home and take action from that, whatever you see. From HD video to motion-activated alerts to a 90-plus decibel siren that you can activate. Cool. Canary gives you everything you need to keep your home safe. Now, here with us today to tell us more about the Canary is John Carter. He is Canary Connect's Head of Communications. John, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Our pleasure. So for people who might not be familiar with Canary, the website, but tell us a little bit about the company. How long have you been, has this been up and running?
So Canary's been around since late 2013 when we launched a crowdfunding campaign to first get this off the ground and bring Canary to the world. We went into retail just about a year and a half later, and we've been selling all over the world for the last year now. The whole focus of the company is bringing this all-in-one home security, sort of a different approach to traditional security and even some of the other things you'd have on the market, and doing whatever we can to help people protect what matters to them.
Well, and you know, as a homeowner, I have to say that I have some experience with alarm systems. It can be quite
Convoluted?
Yeah, convoluted. Really, I mean, installing motion detectors, window glass breaks, the monitoring system, the part that calls you or the police, or I mean, it can be not only convoluted.
The 15 dogs you have to keep, and now you have to feed because, you know, you keep them in every door. Yeah, you know.
Exactly. And the monthly service fees and charges, it can be quite involved. Are you competing with services like that, like Honeywell and ADT and all those that are out there? Are you competing with them, or are you in a different niche?
I think we're absolutely competing with them. You guys made a lot of great points, but the bottom line is when you look at traditional home security systems, you're talking about a solution that isn't merely broken. It's never really worked in the first place. They're complicated, they're expensive, and they're ineffective. I mean, anything that's got a 95 to 99% false alarm rate is just going to encourage people to turn it off more than anything else. Wow.
Now, where do you get those statistics from?
Those are statistics that the federal government puts out, and that you can see even some of the own traditional security systems will put out. ADT, for example, put out a press release a few years ago that said 2/3 of the people that own an ADT system don't even turn it on anymore. And so really, when you're talking about those complicated systems, most of what you're paying for is the sign you get to put on your yard, or the sticker you put in your window. And
Well,
I think we think that there's a more effective and certainly more affordable way to tackle this problem.
okay, so let's talk a little bit about the product itself. Now, the product you have is called the Canary, and you say you can compete. Now, a typical home has all these different elements that they have. Obviously, the doors, you know, then there's the windows, and then there are motion detectors, and that they have to be placed in different positions. And I know they can tie you in fire, other elements to that. It's hard for me, or I would think for other people to believe that a single unit would be able to cover all those bases. Do you? And if so, how do you do that?
Well, I think you do raise a fair point that every home is different, but I think it starts fundamentally with the approach. Typically, in traditional home security, you're looking at a perimeter-based system that's going to give you binary information about your home, right? The door is open, the door is closed, the window is open or whole, the window is broken. And what we're trying to do is replace that with a more sensory approach to what happens in your home by giving you as much meaningful information as we can about what's happening, and then giving the ability to take action on it once something does go wrong. And so whether it's one unit for a small home or apartment, or a couple of units for larger homes and properties, the goal is to cover a central high traffic area of your home, those major entrances and exits, and then when it does detect something happening, to give you as much information about what's happening as we can.
So you think that and obviously we're going to get into the specs of this, but so you think that HD video is going to be better than door open, door closed, window broken, window not broken? So you think that that video of anything that's happening in your home is going to be better than just a blanket something is wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you get that alert that just tells you something happened and you don't know what it is, you're sort of left to your own devices to figure out what's actually happening and what to do about it. For us, our goal by creating this device and connecting to your smartphone is to tell you everything that's happening right there in the palm of your hand, and then give you the opportunity to decide what to do about it.
Okay. Now, the Canary unit itself, and we'll get to this, is sort of like the base unit. Describe how you came to to design this unit looking the way it does.
It looks very stylish.
Yeah.
Thank you. We actually put a lot of work into making sure, first and foremost, to your point, Ben, that it doesn't look like a camera. We're talking about an appliance that we're asking you to put in a lot of cases in your living room or in your home, this area that you care a lot about. And so what we didn't want to do is come up with a hardware design that looked like you were bolting one giant eyeball staring at you from across the room. So in addition to trying to design something that's stylish, we also tried to pack it with the latest hardware and sensor technology that we could, again, to give you all of that meaningful information. So you've got this 6-inch cylinder that's less than a pound, brushed aluminum, but inside is sort of where all the magic happens. And that's where you're going to get a wide angle HD camera, microphone to pick up audio of what's going on, accelerometer, as well as sensors for temperature, humidity, air quality, again, to synthesize all that data and then send it to your phone so you can see what's happening.
Now, and this is in juxtaposition or in lieu of we're picking on ADT here right now, but which is a monitoring company. So you're not doing the monitoring; they're monitoring for you. And if something happens, then they not only alert you, but they alert the police and everything. How are you different from that environment?
It's a great question. Our focus is on empowering the actual customer and the user. So what we want to do is we want to tell you what's happening and let you decide how to respond. And so if you get a notification to your phone, you can watch live video of what's happening in real time. And if it is something wrong, if it's a burglar that's not supposed to be there, if it's a situation where something's going wrong, what we do is we give you the option to either sound a 90 decibel siren that's built into the device, or we've also pulled in local emergency response numbers. And so that means that when you set up your Canary, it's automatically going to pull in the phone numbers for the closest fire, police, and EMS, so that even if you're across the country on vacation, when you hit that button in the Canary app to call emergency services, you're going to get connected to police, fire that are closest to your home, not a 911 operator who's wherever you may happen to be on the beach or out climbing a mountain or wherever you happen to be away from home.
Okay, so the Canary stores the contact information when you're setting it up. You tell it what the local police emergency number is, fire, medical emergency services. You have to kind of research that, or do you keep a database of all the numbers in the area when you're setting this up?
There are national directories that have most of those numbers in there. And throughout the design process, what our product team did was make sure that we made the experience as easy as possible so that when you plug your Canary in and connect it to your Wi-Fi or Ethernet, it's automatically going to use its geolocation capabilities to pull those numbers in for you. And then, of course, if you wanted to go in and change them, you always have access to that in your settings.
Okay. So it sounds so far that it's getting fairly
Very
easy.
well thought out. Yeah.
Well thought out. So let's just take, for example, a home that has may have an existing alarm system, and the person is listening to this. What would you say to that person that may convince them to give up the alarm system that they already have and maybe check into what it is that you have? Because and also how you're different from some of these many other systems that you see advertised that claim to be, all-in-one types of systems.
Yeah, I think that we try at Canary to make things a simpler and more meaningful experience across sort of three factors, right? First is we try and build a solution that's as comprehensive as possible to solve this problem of security and really this larger issue of just knowing what's happening in your home. So if you're a traditional security customer, then you might have an opportunity to either replace this, save a little bit of money, but also just know more about what's happening. And in fact, 20% of our existing Canary customers either switched out from a traditional system or got Canary to supplement a traditional home security system that they've used. The second place we try and win is just merely by being more affordable. We say we want to be a home security solution that works for everybody, and that means we have to be at a price point where we're not charging you $30, $40, $50 a month and locking you into 3-year contracts. And I think even some of our smart home competitors that have monitoring solutions do try and lock you up for a year or more. We want to give you the flexibility, not just with how you protect your home, but also with what happens to your wallet. And then the third piece is we just try and make the experience as simple as possible. So whether you're talking about setup or the user experience in the app, or the hardware experience itself sitting on your shelf in the living room, we want to make it as simple, as delightful, as engaging an experience to use. We don't want to make this a more complicated way to know what's happening at home. We want to make it as easy as possible.
Okay. Oh, and I really don't want to jump ahead too far here, but something you said there kind of struck me is that you're right. We and we've even talked about some systems that do try to get you to buy our system, sign up for a year, and and we can and then we can renew it 3 months or what have you, blah blah blah. Canary, obviously, I'm more than positive you have some kind of system that you some kind of service that you subscribe to that will store your videos or provide some kind of information. Let's say that you decide that Canary, like you don't want to do the Canary service, but instead you just want to use the camera on your own and maybe link it to your home servers or link it to something else. Is Canary usable without subscribing to a Canary service?
It's usable without subscribing to a service. We make sure that every Canary customer has access to our free plan. And what the free plan is going to do is there's a video timeline within the app that sort of keeps a living record of what's happened at home when there's significant motion. And we're going to give you the last 12 hours of everything that happened in your home absolutely free. And then on top of that, we're going to make sure that you have the ability to save and download a certain amount of clips for free, and you have unlimited sharing. So even though we strict downloads to, I think we let you download 3 clips on our free plan. We let you save 5 clips forever. The other thing that we do is we allow for unlimited sharing. So at any time, if you want to share one of the video events from that timeline, you can email it, text it, put it on Facebook, post it to Twitter, etc.
Now, what's the purpose of that? Is that for law enforcement, to identify whoever's breaking into your home so you can send it to them? Or, I mean, again, I'm thinking this is not
the only thing that popped in my head was go on Twitter, hashtag 911. Hey guys, check this out, LOL. And it's just guy breaking into your house.
No, I mean, this is serious stuff. I would assume this is serious stuff. This is not for, oh, hi, just show what the family is doing. This is security, correct?
It's a little bit of both. I think from a security aspect, first and foremost, it's why we include those free certain amount of downloads and saved clips and allow you not just to share to social networks, but share through email as well. Because for us, to your point, Craig, home security, we feel like if you have the right solution, it's got to do three things. First, it's got to tell you what's happening at home, and we do that through the high definition video, audio, those sensory sensors as well for temperature and humidity and air quality, so that you have a complete picture of what's happening. The second thing is we want you to have the ability to take action when something goes wrong, and that's why we built in the siren and those emergency call numbers we discussed. The third thing is evidence, to be able to get those clips to law enforcement, to your lawyer, to your insurance agent. And as for sharing to social networks, there are some lighter moments that people capture on the Canaries when it's monitoring home, but we've also seen situations where the customer posted footage of a burglar to their Facebook page, and that was shared along in the community and led to actually a burglar getting captured. We've had customer videos posted to their social networks. They got tens of thousands of views, and then people recognize photo and pass along a tip to their local police. So you'd be surprised. It's an environment that's changing pretty rapidly, and our goal is just to put as many features as possible as we can in consumers' hands to help them solve for it. More straightforward law enforcement means, or sort of tapping their communities to help out.
Okay. Do you recommend placing the Canary in some sort of inaccessible spot, or are we putting this on the table and just so we can get a good camera angle? Recommend device.
So we recommend that you put Canary on any flat surface in a central high traffic area of your home. And in your home, our approach suggests that if a burglar breaks in through your bathroom window, they're probably not going to steal everything out of your medicine cabinet and jump back out through the bathroom window. At some point, they're going to come through your living room, through that kitchen or grand hallway area, through a central area of your home. And if the Canary is placed in that area, that's where we're going to capture that footage, and you're going to be able to see what's happening and then act accordingly. And so really we say a bookshelf, a coffee table, countertop in the kitchen, anywhere that has a good view of the widest area of your home and one of those central entrances or exits, and you're in a good spot. So for example, I've got mine on the end table next to the couch in my living room, and it's got a great view of my kitchen, outside of the living room, and our bedroom door. And that's most of what I need to be able to keep an eye on what's happening at home.
What if you have, though, more than one floor? Let's say you have 2 or 3 different floors, and perhaps
you might be the perfect candidate for the multiple Canary setup, I would assume.
Well, yeah. In other words, one camera isn't going to cut it. It's just not going to cover what you need. What do you do in that situation?
In that situation, you are able to connect up to 4 different Canary devices, and they all integrate into the app. And so it's as simple upstairs camera to downstairs camera. We try and make it, again, as simple as we can, and we allow you to connect up to 4 devices, whether that's 2 devices in one home or 1 device at home and 1 device in a vacation home, hundreds of miles away. Wherever you put the Canaries, if you have multiple, they all work through the same app.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you can connect.
Yeah, I definitely connect multiples to the same app, but sorry if I'm making you repeat yourself, but you mentioned the wide angle lens. How wide of a field of view are we looking at here? Like, is it just, the 90 degrees that you pointed at, or how much of a room does it really capture? Let's say if you put it in a corner somewhere.
So it's a great question. We have a 147 degree angle on the camera. We tested it in hundreds of different homes and apartments to figure out what the optimal range for how wide the camera goes without distorting that high def view that we're giving you. And 147 is about sort of the ideal spot for catching as much of the room as you possibly can and still giving you great picture quality.
Okay. So are there any peripherals to this device, or is it just the one device? I mean, that operates. And when you're configuring it up, are there any other devices that work with it, or is it standalone?
We built the device to be standalone. We tried to pack all of the hardware sensors into a single device, so you're not in a scenario where you're running around the house with a screwdriver and a hammer, installing things all over the place. We do integrate with the Wink system, so if you wanted to connect to smart lights or a doorbell lock or anything else in your smart home or automated home, you can do it through that system. But Canary itself is built to stand alone and work just as effectively.
Okay. This
sorry, Craig, I keep cutting you off. I'm so sorry, but talking about all these other things that you have baked into this, you said air quality sensors, temperature sensors, and things like that. How sensitive can you really set those? Because I mean, air quality or even temperature, I mean, could alert you to someone without actually being, motion being there. Like, is the temperature sensor only like, oh, it was 73 degrees and now it's 983 degrees? There might be a problem. Like or is it like a couple of degrees difference and it can alert you to something?
So that's a place where, again, we're trying to let the customer decide what they want to get notified for. So when you go into the home health settings or viewpoint of the app, you get a 24-hour timeline of your temperature, of your humidity, and of your air quality. So you can actually see over the course of a day how hot or humid your home gets, and set thresholds for notifications. So you can go in and you can say, I want to get a notification when it goes above 90 degrees or below 40 degrees in my home, or you can set it for humidity and then air quality as well. And so that you can make sure, so for example, if you have a problem with the furnace during the winter, the temperature is going to drop below a certain degree, you'll get a notification before it gets so low that the pipes freeze. And by the same token, in the wintertime, if that temperature or humidity rises to an even higher degree, you'll be able to get a notification again, so you can do something about it before your pet's wilt or your dog starts to get too dehydrated.
Okay. So again, the setup is sounds to me like it's pretty straightforward. Does Canary know when I'm home or when I'm away? I mean, and if so, how does it know that?
It watches you.
That's a great question. When we designed Canary, one of the things that we wanted to do is figure out where we wanted to automate some settings and where we wanted to offer a higher level of engagement. And one pain point that we definitely heard from early sort of customer surveys was, you wanted to get rid of that keypad that you have to remember to arm and disarm yourself. So what Canary does during setup is it sets up a geofence around your home. It's about 150-foot radius. And then that connects to your phone so that when you leave, the device will auto arm, and when you come home, it's going to sense you and your phone coming back into the geofence and automatically disarm or go into privacy mode, which completely shuts down the camera and microphone, depending on your preferences and your settings.
And how do I know that's going to happen? I know I'm maybe sounding overly paranoid, but you got to know. I mean, if I'm going away and I have it set and I go beyond the geofence limitations, how do I know that Canary is actually armed and ready and now protecting my home? How do I know that?
So we tell you right on the home screen of the app what mode the device is in, and then you can always see in the timeline when the mode changed from home to away and vice versa. If you have an Apple Watch, you'll actually be able to see it right on the face of the Apple Watch in your home screen as well. The goal is to, again, make it easy to get this information, and so at a glance tell you as much as we can about home, no matter where you are. So
what if we have more than one person in the home, though? I've got Ben, and I've got myself, I've got my wife. I mean, we have all these different people, and they're coming and going in the home. Will Canary know that everybody's gone, or that I might be gone, but Ben is still in the house, and not arm it, and, and Ben moves and calls the police or something? I mean, how do you handle that kind of a scenario when there are multiple family members in the home?
It's a great question. And anytime anybody you have in your home who downloads the app, the geofence will work for them. And in fact, in your timeline, you'll be able to see when your wife or Ben arrived home or left, and the mode changed. And so it'll even say Ben arrived home or Ben left. I know my wife uses it when she's away to make sure that I got home when I said I did on curfew. I'm not staying out too late. So we try and do it so that there's full transparency for everybody at home. And you don't get a lot of notifications when Ben's walking around the kitchen making lunch and you're off at work.
All right. I got a lot more questions to ask you here, but as you can hear, the music means we're at the bottom of the hour break, and then we're going to continue on. All right. So, John, stay with us. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Ben and I are talking to John Carter. He is with Canary Connect, where he is the head of communications. We're going to take a little break. We have a news disposal review from Marty Winston. That's all coming up, and then we'll be back with him right after this.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Yeah, my Raspberry Pi programs keep giving me the raspberries.
Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Kidda FireX talking smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. Any smoke alarm can beep when there's a fire, but the Kidda FireX combo ionization smoke and electrochemical carbon monoxide alarm can talk. Not much, not often, but the message is fire or warning carbon monoxide, or one of a few maintenance messages. It also sounds an 85 decibel alarm. This is AC powered with AA cell backup and interconnectable, so all of them in a house can alert when any one of up to 18 of them triggers. Bottom line, equipping your home with Kidda FireX Smart Combo smoke and carbon monoxide alarms that talk and interconnect is like keeping a fire lookout team on guard and connected all through the house. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show here, 33 minutes past the hour, as we are, right in the middle of our interview with Canary and Mr. John Carter. And, as right there, Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin Review, connected devices, connected home, and monitoring your home through the internet, through apps, and, having all these devices talk to each other, obviously not going to go away anytime soon. This is where technology seems to be heading, and it's all about getting your home to not just, lock it up and be secure, but also have it, in a way, have itself tell you when something is going wrong.
So I'd like to continue asking my questions of John on this. So we resolved the answer to, let's say multiple people are in the home, and then so one of them leaves, but the other person's still there. Obviously, you don't want the alarm to arm, and as you mentioned, you explained how that works, and it works fine. Let's say Ben leaves and I leave, and we'll all leave the family, but the dogs stay home. Okay, we have dogs. People have pets. If you leave and then the pet's there, will the motion detector go off? Will the pet set that off, or how do you accommodate animals in the house?
And this is a really important point, right? We talked earlier about how our goal is to only send you meaningful information about what happens at home. And if you're getting an alert every time the cat gets up from a nap and stretches on the couch, that's not really an effective solution, is it? You're at work getting 15 notifications thinking something's wrong, and really it's just your cat or your dog perhaps up to no good. So what we do is we attack notifications two different ways. The first is we try and strip out as much background chatter as we can. So Canary uses computer vision and machine learning technology to sort of identify patterns of motion in your home and then categorize that and start to figure out what's normal and what's abnormal. So right off the bat, we try and eliminate what we call stable or repetitive motion events. And those are things such as if you leave the television on and you leave the house, or if there's a ceiling fan that's left on in the living room, if there's shadows or a window open, where a curtain's blowing in a certain corner, the Canary system's algorithms are going to recognize that and say, this isn't behavior that you care about. We're not going to send you a notification for this. And now for things that are a little bit more complicated, like pets, for example, what we do is we've built a sensitivity slider into the settings of the device. And so what you're able to do at setup and really at any time is to go in and adjust that sensitivity slider for how significant a motion event needs to be for it to send you a notification. And really, it's a pretty simple slider feature, but the technology behind it is pretty complicated. And what we're actually trying to do is, when we categorize those patterns of behavior, establish what we call a confidence score for specifically people and pets. And so the Canary is able to learn and say, we are 90% positive that this is a person versus we are 90% positive this is a cat or a dog. And so if the slider is set to a very high sensitivity, you'll get an alert if that dog runs across the living room. If you set it to a lower level, it's only going to send you a notification if it's sure that that's a person in the room while the device is armed.
Can you work with, let's say, because of this scenario, let's say you have a family or person who already has an alarm system in their home, like an ADT or Honeywell or one of these, and they want to try to see if Canary will kind of replace it, or maybe work alongside of it. And maybe there's a weaning off point. Have you had any experiences with families who say, well, I want to try this, but I already have something in here, and can it work along with it? Or any
You're
thoughts?
going to need to go to Craigslist, hire yourself a thief, set up Canary, and do trial courses throughout the day. So good luck, Craig.
Yeah. Seriously.
No, we absolutely do see that. We do. We see a lot of customers who have a traditional security system that doesn't have a monitoring component to it, and so they've gotten Canary to supplement it. We've had situations where we've caught burglars that they might not have, or that we've given peace of mind when an alarm does go off, that it's not actually a serious incident, but something more innocuous, like the dog situation. The great thing about Canary is that even whenever you've got it, you can watch live at any time, whether you see a notification or not. So if you are ever at the office and wondering what the dog is up to, you can look in whenever you want. And so people do value that monitoring aspect of it. It's very affordable, and very easy to set up. So if you wanted to try it as your contract for a traditional system was coming to an end, there's absolutely that aspect. And of course, we have a 60-day warranty. So even if you don't like your experience, you have that try before you buy opportunity as well.
Okay, very good answers. Let's go to the next scenario. Let's say that one of the things that home alarm systems will do, they'll allow you to arm the perimeter of the home. So you and your family, let's say, are inside, and safe. And of course, I think it turns off all the motion detectors. But it keeps the glass breaks and it keeps the doors active, but you can still be inside your home. Do you offer something like that with the?
Are you asking what Canary does when you're at home? Like, does it provide continuous surveillance and things like that?
Yeah. Well, let me ask John. I mean, in that scenario, what would you recommend, or what do you do?
So we actually just released some new features in the last couple of weeks to provide an answer for exactly this kind of scenario. Previously, we just had an armed and disarmed mode, and then a privacy mode that would shut down that camera and microphone. What we started to get over the last few months was requests from customers for scenarios like that, and just also the ability to customize a little more. So we updated the modes for Canary to be home and away mode. And then we added a nighttime mode. And what that means is it brings scheduling to the app. Say, Canary, every night at 11:30 p.m. to 8 a.m., I want you to arm the device in my living room. That way, when you retreat to bed, the device is still armed, and if you're asleep, you'll be able to get a notification if there's motion. What that also does is if you have multiple Canaries in your home, previously you'd only be able to arm and disarm the system. With our new mode setting, you're able to customize it. So if you've got a device upstairs and a device downstairs, you could have the downstairs device armed and the upstairs device disarmed if you wanted to do so.
Okay, so it sounds to me like the real world scenarios. You've been in the real world long enough to know that that things in the lab don't necessarily reflect how people are actually using the products, and it sounds to me like you've taken steps to accommodate those different scenarios.
Yeah, one of the best features that we have, really, when you're looking at it, is that we have a very vocal and engaged customer base. I mean, we're still a relatively small company when you stack us up against the Googles and ADTs of the world. So our early customers have been great about giving us feedback, and we're lucky enough to have a focus on one product software team. So our customer experience team, which sits right in the middle of our office and takes calls and emails from customers all day, works with our product team to prioritize which features we add and which features we create based on the feedback we get from customers. So every week and every month, we're looking at what things customers request the most, and then either inventing them or bumping them up in our product roadmap to release new features for free that make your Canary better every week.
That's nice. Having products that are upgradable like that with software certainly is nice. Have you thought of adding like a panic button? Let's say I'm upstairs and I'm in the mode you said, and you hear a noise or somebody's there and you need to call the police or something. Can you hit like a panic button, or do you just basically pick up your phone and call 911? Any thoughts to that, John?
Oh, Craig, now you're getting into the stuff that I can't talk about. I can't say that we have a panic button right now. What I will say is that our engineers have a monthly Hack Friday event where we put aside the everyday work and experiment with some new things. And that may or may not have been a topic of conversation that started to come up just in last week's Hack Friday event. So I don't know if you've been eavesdropping, but you're certainly on to something.
After 25 years, if you give Craig usually about an hour, which is why we set these things up, he'll get you to say something that you don't want to say, and and something that you probably can't talk about just yet. He's very good at that kind of thing.
Okay.
All right. So, and Canary unit looks good, great video. Really good to see that the HD video that you're shooting is actually 1080p HD, because so many companies out there say that they have HD video and it's 720p. And don't get me wrong, 720, good. But 10, I think a lot of people expect 1080p. And just kind of looking through some of your other features here, one that sticks out that I haven't seen from another company is the siren feature. And I don't know if it's you want to have a shouting match with someone or why you have, something called a siren feature, but what is that? Why is that?
It all goes back to trying to think through some of these home security scenarios and give people options for how they respond. So we've had situations where families were upstairs putting their kids to bed, and had a burglar come in and got a notification literally while they were reading their children a bedtime story. And in that situation, calling the police isn't an immediate enough response when you're right there when an intruder comes in. So they were able to sound the siren and scare that burglar out of their house within 20 seconds of him kicking open their back door. We have other scenarios where people get an alert and are watching video of a burglar and use the emergency call button to contact police and wait for them to respond and be on their way before they sound the siren. And so what we're trying to do, no matter what, is make sure that we're thinking through whatever scenario you could be in and giving you more than one option to take action and respond.
Okay.
Go ahead, Craig. I'm sorry.
It makes sense. And again, all these different scenarios and updates and features are, again, upgradable. The hardware remains pretty much the same. It's just that the software that's driving it, you make these modifications through software. Is that correct?
Exactly. When we first rolled out the first Canary units, we were very conscious of the fact that we'd wanted to continue to innovate. So we packed it with as many softwares and as much advanced hardware as we could. And then the goal there was to continuously iterate and innovate on the software side, so that the Canary you bought 6 months ago is a completely different and better and more effective scenario and solution for you now than it ever was. And the goal is to keep getting better and better and better until we've taken it as far as we can.
Okay. Now, there are a lot of industry standards like HomeKit and these types of things that attempt to or engage the technologies to kind of merge. There are many of them out there, and unfortunately, not all of them work with each other. So, you have any plans to work with some of these?
I believe you said the Wink ecosystem, right?
Yeah, we work with Wink now. That's something that we rolled out at the end of last year, really as sort of an experiment more than anything, to learn about how our customers would integrate Canary with other products, what use cases they would ask for most, and to kind of help us set our philosophy and our roadmap for any future integrations we wanted to do. Craig, your point is exactly right. There are a dozen different standards out there with all kinds of different formats, whether you're talking about HomeKit or Thread or Zigbee or all join, and until this consolidates, we don't want to spend our time trying to rush to integrate with everything when we could be spending that time making the product better. And so we're always going to look to customer demand and what customers ask us to do when we figure out what we're going to integrate with. And then, we're going to make sure that anytime we do choose to integrate, it's to make the product experience better. And with an eye towards doing that while at the same time maintaining customer privacy and some of the data security that we need to be conscious of when you're talking about a product like Canary, which puts a camera in your living room. The more things you connect to, the more risk you run of providing open doors for hackers and other folks to get in there. And so we've done everything we can on our side to keep our product secure. We want to make sure that anyone we connect to is taking those same precautions. So I think you may have seen, we announced that we're going to be integrating with HomeKit and Apple later this fall. There's somebody who takes that very seriously. It's an easy partnership for us to look at and see where it makes sense. But we're going to be very careful and very thorough, whether it's Apple or anybody else, when we look at our integration roadmap.
Now, you say you support smartphones. What smartphone platforms does Canary support at this time?
We work with iOS and Android.
Okay.
Poor BlackBerry.
So,
but that's
look at that customer demand, Ben, right?
but we've been saying poor BlackBerry for way longer since before this show, so don't worry about that.
Now, the Canary also has daytime, obviously but does it have night vision? Because I would think that was very important.
It does. It's absolutely important. We don't want a product that works fantastic, but only for 12 hours a day. And so we spent a lot of time not just getting the regular camera quality to work as well as it could, but our night vision is among the best in the industry. We have a great team here, and they literally built the image drivers from the ground up off the hardware to make sure that we're giving you as crisp and clear a picture at nighttime as we possibly can.
Now, does that work by, does the night video, is it emitting, some of them work with, they have infrared emitters, and which is, emits invisible light that you can't see, and the camera picks up on that. I mean, what is your night vision based on?
Our night vision is based on IR LEDs. You're correct.
All right. So that they're provided.
Right. And just real quick, we talk a lot about a system called, or a service called IFTTT, or If This Then That, which is a great service that we recommend for a lot of people, because it takes these connected devices and it gives them better integration through the IFTTT service. It without waiting for one thing to really start working with another, you can get these things to start really talking to each other. And so I was kind of wondering if there was integration, and I went to Wink, and you have a lot of integration through the Wink system. You have a lot of integration with, let's say, the Philips Hue line of lights and things like that. Let's say you do have a connected home with connected lights, and would it be possible, maybe through IFTTT, whatever, or your own system, would it be possible to say, okay, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, we sense motion. If we sense motion, turn on a light. Is that kind of intermingling happening yet?
It's not happening yet, but it's absolutely on the roadmap. We've been talking to the guys at IFTTT. I can't confirm an exact date for when you'll see that integration, but it is something that we've been talking about and we'll be working on in the near future.
Very nice.
Yeah, it is very nice. So, so basically, you need to have an app for the operation. You just download the app. I mean, through with the Apple Store or the Apple's iTunes, and then you.
Can more than one person kind of get access to the to the system? Let's say multiple people have a smartphone. Multiple people want access to the same camera.
Yes. So all you need to do is download the free Canary app when you're setting up the device. The device setup is pretty easy. You plug it in, connect to the internet, and then we have Bluetooth setup now with the device and the phone. So all you do is, as you're going through the app setup experience, you tap the top of the device, and it's going to instantly connect to your phone and go through the setup process. And then once you've set it up on one phone, that device owner just has to invite anyone else to join the app and join the account. All they do is download the app, add it to the account, and they're good to go.
Okay, so it sounds like you're making it very, very simple. The implementation of Bluetooth. So in other words, you don't even have to have Wi-Fi going, or you don't have to go through. You don't set up through Wi-Fi. You set up through Bluetooth, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we chose Bluetooth setup. Initially, what we did was we provided a yellow cord that would plug into the back of the device and the headphone jack of your phone to make it sort of a secure and simple setup. Yeah. But our latest devices coming off the manufacturing line have Bluetooth setup enabled, so that it's even more fast and still just as secure. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad to hear that, because I'm sorry, but I hate it when I have to haul out a yellow Ethernet cable that connected. Yeah. It's just such a pain. I realize you only have to do it once, but it's just.
Well, it's becoming a necessity with your washer, your dryer, your thermostat, your lights. Everything's connected to the internet. You can't exactly run wires to even half the things that are connected to the internet nowadays, let alone computers. So
you move your the washing machine out, so you can get to the back where the Ethernet jack is.
Exactly.
Exactly. Or slide that 200-pound refrigerator out so you can get an interface. No. So yeah, obviously this is the
and by the way, John, I said this way earlier, but I really do like the subtle, the subtlety of your logo. It has nothing to do with the actual product, but the logo, I like the subtlety of it.
So. Thank you. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on getting the branding right. I think, especially when you're talking about home security, too much too much of our competitors focus on sort of the fear and scariness and overprotection. So we didn't want to make the Iron Eagle home security system. We tried to, whether we're talking about the name, the logo, the branding, the look of the device, make things a little bit friendlier, a little bit more neighborly, so they'd be a little more comfortable in your living room and on your phone.
Does Canary come from the old mining days when you had little canary in the cage and it tipped over to let people know something was wrong before anything else? Is that where that comes from?
Exactly. It's exactly the inspiration. You know, we thought of that canary in the coal mine, and that's sort of where we started with the whole brand, is that early warning system that lets you know that something might be amiss.
Yeah.
And one more thing we should really cover before we run out of time here. We're so close. We just looking at your homepage here, it says that you are State Farm discount eligible. So let's say home insurance companies or things like that, what do they think about Canary systems?
Oh, they love it. We've had a great relationship with State Farm since way back when we launched. And what they see is that, they know people that have a device like this in their homes, don't just have an effective security solution, but it's something they care about. So with State Farm, I believe we're the only smart home solution from a home security perspective that gives you that discount on your homeowners or renters insurance. We've been talking to a lot of other insurance partners as well. So whether you're State Farm or someone else, if you have a Canary device and call your agent, there's a good chance that you'll get some sort of discount on your homeowners or renters, depending on where you live. It's a great partnership. We've been able to do a ton with them. And it's just one more sign that, it's not us who are just talking about this so effective. When you get guys like that talking about it as well, it helps add a little bit of credibility.
Basically, the largest room that the Canary would be effective in is typically, I know you have this wide angle, but what would be the biggest room before you would need a second Canary, just out of curiosity?
You can put the Canary anywhere. The range of the camera, I believe, is about 5 meters.
Talk
English, see pretty far, and vision as well.
Talk English.
5 meters is like, I think like 18, 20 feet.
It's about 18 to 20 feet. Yeah, sorry, I default to the metric system for some reason. But yeah, it's about 18 to 20 feet. You're right, Ben.
Okay, 18, 20 feet.
You default because it's a better system, but we're Computer America, unfortunately, so it is what it is.
It is. So
now we're going to need a whole other debate.
Yeah. So anything after that, then you would probably need a second Canary in the same room just for coverage. Is that what you're saying, or?
Yeah, well, we also do allow for digital zoom and pan. So you're able to magnify what you see in the Canary up to 3 times when you're looking at it on your smartphone.
Okay.
So, for example, my front door is a little farther away than my main Canary, but when I zoom in, I can still get a pretty good picture of what's happening over there.
All right, so you'd have the digital zoom and everything. That's it. Now, can you, or have you thought of people being able to monitor the Canary on a computer rather than a smartphone, just the smartphone?
Yeah, we are working on a web app, and we're also working on a tablet and iPad app as well. We know that most people are going to be using it through their smartphone. We're able to come up with an Apple Watch app pretty quickly, but we also realize that we want to be able, you want to be able to access your Canary app on every screen. So it's definitely something that's also in the roadmap, and I think you'll see a tablet app from us soon and a web app soon after that.
Yeah, and even Apple has that integration. When you see it on your smartphone, it's cutting over. I mean, they just introduced that with their latest Mac OS ability, Sierra, so it'll allow you to do that. And certainly, it would be nice to have something like that. John, listen, we're pretty much out of time here.
We didn't even get a price,
which
I think is pretty important.
Yeah, what is the price, and where can they get Canary?
The price is $199, and you can get it on our website, canary.is, and you can also pick it up at almost any retail store. So Best Buy, Target, Apple, Home Depot, Verizon. Generally, if you're at the mall, you should be able to find Canary at one of those places.
Excellent. Well, there you go. And again, if you don't remember, just go to computeramerica.com. Right on our homepage, we have a link to the Canary website. It's right there up on our homepage. That stays up there all week. And John, I want to thank you for taking the time to tell our listeners about the Canary. I think it's a terrific product, and best of luck to you with it. And obviously, as you make new improvements, get back to us and let us know how things are improving. Okay.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I had a great time.
John, thank you again. Take care. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You too.
All right, bye-bye. All right, there he goes. John Carter again with Canary. And I think that it looks like a really cool device. I know we have one here. We're going to do some experimenting with it. I know you don't like cameras in the home, Ben, but
not a fan personally. Yeah, it's not against any particular company. It's not against Canary or any other well-known company out there. It's just I think the home is a private place, and there are obviously settings like in Canary that we've talked about that can even assuage certain fears. But as soon as there's a camera that can possibly be seeing you, little touchy subject for me.
Well, anyhow, we're up against the break, so we're gonna pause in a moment, and then we'll be back with more news and technology stories. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We are going to take a short break. It's just the top of the hour break, and then we're going to be right back. It's going to be that quick. 347-884-8881. Ben, it looks like we have a caller. Maybe we can take that person as well. This is the Computer America Show. We're going to be back momentarily. Please stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America. I'm your host, Craig Crossman. And he is your co-host, Ben. He's on the phone right now taking some calls, and we'll get back to him momentarily. However, we just had our first hour guest, Canary, on the show, John Carter. For Connect's head of communications. If you missed any portion of the show, you can certainly listen to it again. We archive all of our programs at ComputerAmerica.com. Just any page, just go to the archive selection on the menu bar, and then you can listen to today's show, yesterday's show, weeks, months. We have them all stored there, and we'll continue to have the archives available to you at ComputerAmerica.com. Everything we do is reflected at ComputerAmerica.com because it truly is the internet home of a radio broadcast. Ben and I are going to start doing some computer and technology news. That's
any minute now.
Any minute now. So anything else you want to mention before we start doing news?
Well, yeah, we do have a caller, so I think we should take the caller first, and then we'll jump right into the news.
Okay. All right, we're going to go over all the way to Idaho, and we're going to speak to Duncan. Craig, how are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. How about you guys?
Okay, what can we do for you?
All right. Well, I bought this new Microsoft computer here a few weeks ago, and I noticed it was kind of buggy, and with my job, I'm doing a lot of computer work. I work for a kind of this agricultural company where we're kind of doing a lot of business with independent people, and they might have a website for their company, and you really don't know what you're getting into when you go onto like a foreign website. So I installed kind of computer software. Let me see if I can find them. I'm sorry, I should have been more prepared. But I guess I kind of just wanted to talk to you if there's any risks with installing some security software. Like, since I don't have the exact name of it, but are there any inherent risks with installing that?
Well, if it's from a reputable company or a reputable source, if it's something that it's like whatever it might be, like Symantec or any of these well-known, there's certainly no risks. The only problem is that there is a little bit of an overhead that you're going to incur, but that just goes with the it's the nature of the animal.
I would really shy away from third parties that you really haven't heard about in your other lines of work. I mean, you said you work with technology, so anything you haven't really heard about before, because some that are like, half again as cheap as some of the more well-known ones. Sometimes those are just kind of fronts, and they can actually compromise you when you actually give them money, and then you're in a whole world of trouble.
Yeah, so stay away from that. Obviously, I would stick with the name brands that are trusted services, and that would be our recommendation. As long as you're sticking with a company that's fairly well known, like as I mentioned, like Symantec or something like those I think you'll be fine. Okay, Duncan.
Okay, yeah, that answers my question perfectly.
Yeah, and Duncan, I don't know how far into security you've gone in the past, but if you're working with a lot of different companies and you're working with a lot of different people, I think you want to make it very, very clear to these people that you, as their IT person, you're not their last line of defense. Like, you are their first line of defense. And like, if they want to be secure and they want to keep, any kind of confidential information, or any kind of financial records secure, like, they're going to have to take the steps to be secure themselves. Don't open email links directly. Don't install third-party programs. Don't click on messages from people they don't know, because no matter what you do, no matter what you set up, it will never be strong enough if they are more than willing to install the malware on their computers themselves.
All right. Listen.
All right,
Duncan, thanks for calling. And Ken, please keep Computer America 7-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. And I think it's time to do some computer and technology news. So let's get to it. Today's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You could visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. slimwareutilities.com.
All right. So, wow, I got whiplash from how quickly we transitioned from that phone call. So, yeah, and like Craig said, we are doing computer and technology news, but this really is open phone line hour. So if you have a question about security, about something you have, about a computer problem, I know that's actually, I have one that we'll probably talk about here in a second before we do computer and technology news. But during this whole second hour, when we don't have a guest, you guys are more than welcome to call in and join the conversation.
Absolutely.
And one thing I want to talk about before we actually hit into the computer technology news, I didn't want to tell you yesterday, Craig, because you were right, and I don't like you being right. But I was having a problem with, it was an older computer, and it was an older Bluetooth keyboard and mouse setup.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to get it to work. I was trying, I got the mouse to work. The mouse worked fine, but then I was trying to get the keyboard to work. And obviously, I'm not gonna say your vast experience helped you here, but I will say that you did some quick Google foo, and you found the solution to a problem that actually worked. And folks, I had never heard of this, so I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that a certain bulk outlet stores batteries from a reputable name in battery technology caused a malfunction in the keyboard, in the Bluetooth connected keyboard, that I had never heard of before. And once you swapped out these defective batteries, it worked like a charm. But I trusted the store I bought them at. I trusted the brand name that they had, but it was causing problems.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Weirdest thing.
Yeah, if it's not the wattage, the amperage is just slightly off, and the device you're using is sensitive enough to detect that, it will cause a problem. And numerous people on the sites that I did more research at that kept saying, it's the brand batteries, it's the brand. Try a different brand.
It's not even the off brand; it was the brand name batteries.
Yeah, but the ones that are sold at these superstore outlets evidently are slightly different, and they can affect the operations of equipment if it's right on the cusp or 2 cents.
So,
glad to hear you got it all working. That's good news.
It started working after I switched them out. After I switched out the name brand for off brand, and then
Wow.
it started working. Weirdest thing. But never underestimate the power of a good Google search.
Yes.
Because if you've had a problem, then places, our good friend that we're probably gonna have on next week, Mike Cermak, he runs sites like techguy.org. If you have a problem, and there are many other websites and forums out there, then a dozen people at least, if not hundreds of people, have had the same problem, and they've taken it to the internet as well to complain about it. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah. Google is a good place to check and try to find problems for. But hey, that's what we're here for too. We'll do the legwork for you. If you give us a call, we'd love to help you out. Okay.
For sure. So let us jump right into computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. As I think we're gonna kick this off. Wow, I have a lot of Facebook notifications, but let us kick this off with Google. Just talking about how useful their service is when it comes to finding answers. But what about problems that truly don't have a good answer? What do you do? Well, if you're Google, you automate it. And you automate it with this article from Popular Science by G. Clay Whitaker. And can Google automate your breakup? So one man put the Smart Reply email assistant through its paces, which seems like I can't use that word on the air. A bad move if you want to use Google Smart Reply. And we've talked about Smart Reply here on the show before, where it will automatically you can program Google and Gmail to automatically scan the contents of the email, and if it's a simple I'll be there at 8 kind of thing, it will if you have the integration tied in with your calendar, it will make a calendar update and send them an email saying, yes, I see that, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Google Smart Reply is getting more traction. So here we have a gentleman who obviously was going through a breakup and decided, hey, let's put Google to the test. So Ben Crair, not Ben Crossman, Ben Crair did recently exploring Google's Smart Reply as he drafted emails to his father, his ex, and others. So his results were mixed. He found the software sometimes to have the perfect words and sometimes very unexpected ones. So, and they have a quote here from the gentleman saying, but sometimes Smart Reply was eerily perceptive. I started to respect the service after it identified some paternal wisdom my dad had sent to me. Thanks for the advice. It suggested an appropriate enough answer that I was tempted to pass off as my own.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So admittedly, brief replies are the strength of Smart Reply, so it didn't offer drafts of the 1,500-word letters we've all taken the time to compose and then delete. So, and this, of course, comes from New York Magazine, but one gentleman, I guess, is really trying to see if Smart Reply is good enough for his uses, because it might, there might be a day when we may get too many emails from too many different services. I mean, we're getting emails from, our thermostat companies now and our washing machine companies, let alone all your business contacts, let alone, yada, yada. Like, it's surprising there was a day when we thought that email was going to die. If anything, email is just replacing the physical mailbox where everyone wants to contact you from. So having technology like Smart Reply is going to make managing your inbox much, much, much more effective. And, it's good to see that it's working in some limited sense, but I don't think it will ever be good enough to pass off the responsibilities of ending a relationship with a person. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You seem completely disinterested, Craig. So let's just move on to a new one.
Well,
I find this really interesting, and that you don't is kind of hard for me, but
okay.
I understand. So,
well, basically, the Smart Reply email assistant.
we've already talked about that. So let's just go to another one.
Okay.
Next story.
Well, here's an interesting one from ZD that Mozilla is testing Firefox containers. Firefox containers. This is actually a new feature that they're considering. It's a sort of an experimental thing. Basically, the idea is that you can isolate shopping and work and personal browsing identities by basically packing these multiple browsers into a single Firebox installation. That's what they're calling it. So the idea here again is it's experimenting with this new feature in Firefox that lets users log into the same two different and they're called containers. This is an experimental feature in Firefox Nightly version 50, which is designed to reflect the idea that people project different aspects of themselves in different contexts in real life. And containers helps to bring that concept to the web. So basically, it'll allow users to log into multiple accounts on the same site simultaneously and give users the ability to segregate site data for improved privacy and security. The feature could improve the browser experience for people who currently use two browsers to log into, say, two separate Twitter accounts or mail accounts at the same time. It may also benefit those who use a secondary browser to isolate ad trackers from their primary browser. She also notes that users can open private tabs to do these tasks, but this approach lacks some of the conveniences of normal mode. The current implementation of containers enables separated personal, working, banking, and shopping contexts. Simultaneous logins are achieved by keeping the cookies and cache for each container separate, so that a site from the work container, for example, doesn't have access to data from the personal container. This feature adds a second layer to the familiar tab concept. Users can still open a new generic tab, but they can also open a new container tab for each of the 4 profiles. Now, while potentially useful, the container tab concept runs the risk of being confusing. Are you confused, Ben? Because
not really. It makes complete sense that I've even run into situations where, you know, even for the show, where I have a personal business account and then I also have, you know, the overarching Computer America, you know, email account, that I often find myself wanting to, wanting to keep track of 2 different accounts at the same time. And, you know, normally I have to go into something called incognito mode, which is another instance of the same program, but like not in the same program. So to have something like this is much, much more convenient.
But there are some problems here. And for example, these questions: how will users know what context they're operating in? They need some sort of indicator to show that. And also, what if the user makes a mistake and uses the wrong context? Can the user recover from that error? Okay, so like I guess a container undo, if you will. And also, can the browser assist by automatically assigning websites to containers so that users don't have to manage their identities by themselves? These are several issues that they're going to have to address with this.
Well, yeah, you know, when you open up 2 different accounts in 2 different containers, and then you close them both, and you open up a completely, you know, a completely different session, you know, which one does it choose? Does it choose, you know, the first one that was opened, or does it choose the last one that was closed?
Well, what they're going to do is the answer to the first question, which is how will users know what context they're operating in. Mozilla answer to that is to use brightly colored icons to the right of the URL bar, which indicate the context of a particular tab, as well as a corresponding strip of color on the top of each tab. For example, personal could be blue, or it could be yellow, banking is green, shopping pink, that type of thing. And then the regular tab has no color whatsoever. So I think that's one way of kind of ascertaining where you are.
They're going to color code it.
Yeah, color code it, exactly. Also, cookies, local storage, index DB, and cache are separated, while items such as history, permissions, and save passwords are shared between the containers. That approach means that if a user is in their shopping container, they'll still be able to see a site they visited from another container in the history panel. It should also mean that if they're browsing for goods online, they won't be tracked when they move to the personal or work container. That's nice. That's nice. And here's a quote here. They're saying, by separating the data that a site has access to rather than the data that a user has access to, Containers is able to offer a better experience than some of the alternatives users may be currently using to manage their identities, which is what you just talked about. You know, I think it's a good idea. Of course, again, it opens itself up to some confusion, and you're going to have to be really cognizant of, you know, where it is and what you're doing when you're doing it.
It's a very niche problem. Like, I doubt that the average computer user is, you know, who uses it for surfing or entertainment, that they're running into this problem every single day. This is for a business oriented kind of deal, or someone who has to manage multiple multiple accounts online. That I doubt that'd be like 1% of Mozilla's users. But it's cool to see that they are working on solving a problem that I personally didn't even know I had until they started talking about it. And of course, you know, the good thing about browsers is that when there's something unique, the others immediately make it not unique. So, you know, I'm looking forward to see how other companies, try to mimic what Mozilla is doing.
Or they may not, because, as you say, if those other browsers think that, you know, this is too niche for them, they may not have this. And if you want something that, you may have to use Firefox. It's
niche, but I think there is a real application for it. I mean, and of course, I'm just speaking for myself. I could see myself using something like this. It looks good. Let's see how it works in real time, because if it gets to the point where I am losing myself, you know, I'm trying to do things with one account, but I accidentally keep doing it with the other account, because it's not clearly conveyed which account I'm using, then obviously if it's not user friendly, no one's going to use it.
Yeah,
so,
but I think the color coding is going to really actually. I think that's a good solution. The color coding. I think it'll be pretty. It'll be pretty indicative of where you are, what container you're in, just by looking at the colors of the tab.
Could be. I'm saying it sounds exciting. This is one of the first real good innovations I've seen from Mozilla in a long time. Usually the innovations come from places like Opera and, you know, some of these other smaller browsers that then get picked up. But first I'm hearing about this from Mozilla, I say good going. That's the good stuff.
Yeah, there you go. And again, as you look at the inset picture, if you're watching the live video feed, you can see that there's an actual picture of the screen of Firefox, and you can see the little one tab has a blue little bar above it, the other one has like a gold bar above it, and he selected that one, and you can see to the right of the URL it says work. You know, you can see it, so you know exactly which container you're in at that particular moment. So to me, I would think that doing it that way would be less confusing. I think it's right there in front of your face. You can see exactly where it is and where you are. All right.
I'm not gonna say that it's like, even, let's see, nothing is foolproof because I keep making better fools all the time. It's people are gonna mess it up. So anywho, let's move on to this next story, which I know is going to truly be in everyone's wheelhouse as we talk about Furby. Yes, that creepy doll from the 90s.
You remember the Furby? Because I remember the Furby.
Who doesn't remember the Furby? That thing is the nightmare of little boys everywhere and the best friend of little girls everywhere.
He's cute. Come on, he's harmless.
Cute?
Look at him.
Furbies are creepy. There is nothing that they can do to make Furby's cute.
Oh man, now he has little LED eyes that make him more expressive.
That make him look like a Pixar animal. It is crazy. So Furby gets smarter, but it's still pretty damn creepy. This is by Engadget, Mr. Billy Steele, and Hasbro. They are the makers of the original Furby, and they have rebooted the iconic toys a few years ago, and now there's another new version. So where we're talking about Furby, of course, and the new Furby Connect has Bluetooth to handle regular updates.
Wow. So he's the IoT version of Furby.
Well, and it's weird because Furby was always billed as a smart toy, like a smart companion. It could talk back to you. It could respond to touches and motion. It could talk back, whenever you talk to it, it could talk back to you. Like in the 90s, it was considered a smart toy.
Yeah.
So now it's like technology is, kind of catching up with the Furby in some ways, and making the true I think intention of the Furby possible. Because in the 90s, it had a couple of gimmicks, but in the I guess 2010s, it can finally come into its own creepy little self. So the idea is to use the wireless connectivity with a mobile app from Amazon Fire, Android, and iOS devices to deliver new content to the interactive Playmate on the regular. So, the new content will come from the likes of Kids Bop and other age-appropriate publishers. So, it sounds like they're going to load in new songs and obviously new interactions. So, as you might expect from a Furby, the new version reacts to sound and touch with 1,000 phrases and animations for its LCD screen. Its LCD screen eyes. So, yes, its eyes are now essentially little video screens. Hasbro says the gadget has more natural movement and built-in sensors to help it respond to touch. It can also keep track of the date and time, so it can remind you when it needs a snack. So yes, this stupid little thing is going to tell you when it's hungry, like as if it's hungry. But there's a sleep mask, so the toy gets its proper amount of rest, or in case you don't want Furby watching you while you sleep. Who does?
Wow.
So Furby Connect is up for pre-order on Amazon for $100, and expect it in stores sometime this fall. But yeah, creepy Furby making a resurgence.
I'm all for it. I mean, I think he looks really cute. It's right up with that little robot that I sent you. That story about the little robot.
You say right up there. Furbies, I think they always had those little beaks that were always just creepy to me. I don't know what it's supposed to be. It's like a cross between like a parakeet and a hamster and a rabbit, and
he's adorable.
Maybe because I don't. Like Greg, like what you sent to me looked like a type of truck bulldozer kind of thing with a face on it. Okay, I can get behind that. A Furby is a amalgamation of all the worst things about all the worst animals put into one thing that can then yell at you.
Oh man,
I don't know many people who really like the Furby, and yet here we are looking at it.
He's cute. Come on. Now, I mean, we talked about that other robotic, the dog from that. What was the name of the company that makes the? He fell over and he slipped on a banana peel.
Oh yeah. That was Boston Robotics.
Yeah, robotics. Yeah, that was anything. I mean, it was cute, but it was not this level of cuteness. I mean,
well, that's not supposed to be cute.
Yeah, I know it isn't.
Boston Dynamic. There we go. Boston Dynamics. They're making real motion, like mechanical things that are going to be used around the house or in the field or what have you. Furby is just there to look at you.
Yeah, and entertain. Yeah, he's more entertainment. Like that other little robot that I mentioned to you, the Kickstarter robot. What was it? Akai or something? I can't remember.
Yeah.
He's cute too, and he doesn't look creepy. He reminds me of the robot we saw on Wall-E. So. Anyway, I'm just going on the record. I think Furby is a cute looking.
Not a fan.
I'm going K.
Not a fan.
All right, we continue to do computer technology. This is a quickie. We talked about the VLC player yesterday. That it's coming to Windows 10, and
VLC is making a lot of news lately.
Yeah, evidently, this story just came up again from Popular Science, saying now you can use VLC Player in augmented reality. Wow. So VLC, which is a free open source player for cross-platform streaming multimedia, arrived today in the Windows Store for the HoloLens. Wow. Look at this. And if you're watching the live video stream, you can actually see the animated GIF that's actually displaying this. Microsoft OS group technical fellow tweeted the news with a video from his own HoloLens today. The experience looks much like other video streaming demos we've seen for the HoloLens so far, with scaling and tracking to pin it or take the view with you. A private beta version became available earlier this month. This updated Universal Windows Platform app version replaces VLC for Windows Store. So it's just another one here, and basically it looks really cool. I think it's
the video that he tweeted out It's about a minute long, and again, if you're watching the video portion, you don't even have to worry about going and finding it because we're showing it. But it's about a minute long, and he's going through the hierarchy of files, and he's trying to find something to watch. And I guess Monsters Inc. is as good a thing as anything to watch.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, this is from a first-person point of view, so this is what you would be seeing if you were wearing HoloLens. And I don't know, just the idea of having a video screen projected in midair, like where there is not a TV screen or there's really nothing, but it stays stationary. You can look left, you can look right. It doesn't follow you, and it for all purposes, as far as augmented reality goes, slip on a headset, and all of a sudden you have an 80-inch television screen right there on your wall.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
It is very cool. And again, VLC again is the player that it's like the Swiss Army knife of players. If you have a file that you can't open with QuickTime or
VLC hosts, I think, the most codecs for anything that you need to because a codex is needed to run certain kind of video files and decrypt them.
Yep.
So VLC has all of them. It's crazy.
All right, when we come back, more computer news. Nest seems to be working on a smart crib loaded with sensors. Nest, okay. We got some interesting stories. Toyota's car of the future drives like a Camry. Those stories and more coming up. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We will be right back. Stay with us. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Yeah, he sweated so much he made his own wading pond.
Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, exploring Raspberry Pi. Wiley sent their amazingly comprehensive 700-page Exploring Raspberry Pi, Interfacing to the Real World with Embedded Linux by Malloy. We find it kind of ironic that the book takes as much space as those small controllers. But having seen the scope of information that's online, we like that its explanations cover hardware, connections, the OS, applications, and a surprising spectrum of related topics. No, it doesn't answer absolutely everything, but then nothing does. Bottom line, Exploring Raspberry Pi is a more than helpful first stop for information and guidance whenever a Raspberry Pi challenge appears. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thanks for joining us. Oh, and by the way, so often I'm beginning to realize that we talk about the video portion of our show here, kind of infrequently, and we say it at the very beginning and how great of a tool it is.
Yeah.
But I'm beginning to realize that some of our audience members, they come in halfway through. They come in when they have some time. They pop in and out, and so often we talk to people. And they say, "Oh, I didn't even know you had a video portion to your show."
What? Really?
I know. So I just want to take a little second here and say that yes, if you go over to computeramerica.com, right there on today's show, you can see a live feed from the Google Hangouts that we do, and all of the shows that we do, we have video archives of every single show. So if you want to watch an interview with relevant information, plastered up there on the screen, please feel free to go check that out. But while we do the show live, yes, you can, watch us and not really interact with us through that way. We have to submit a question on our homepage. But we highly recommend that you go check out the video portion. Yes, you did not know about it. So,
all right, there it is. And again, from any page at computeramerica.com, it's the show lounge right there on the menu bar. Just click it.
Right. Yeah. Check that out if you did not know about it. So we are doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. As we are continuing on, let us move on to the story that actually came out yesterday, but I like it so much I'm going to force its way in here on today's, because it's a mastery of the internet, that is Google, doing something very, very cool.
Okay.
For another time. So this is Submarine Telecom's forums, of all places, because that's exactly where you want to hear about this. But Google's faster cable system is ready for service, and it boosts trans-Pacific capacity and connectivity.
Wow.
Because we've said this on the show before, but some people don't ever think about how data is transferred between, let's say, Europe and the United States, or Japan and China, or China and the United States, Australia and anywhere. Let's face it, poor Australia. All of these, all these different continents. It's not like they're all beamed up to satellites and then beamed back down to their relevant places. That would take far too long and be far too much latency. Not a good system. Not viable for what we need it for. So for these giant continents of people to talk to each other, I mean, they have these large cables laying across the sea floor, and you can even go online and find complete maps of exactly how many cables, where the cables are, where they lay, and and who owns them. It's quite an impressive map to go see. That when you look at these maps and from a certain perspective, you say, oh. So all these continents are plugged into each other so that we can talk to each other online. It's kind of cool. Like this is why sometimes you hear the phrase, Africa, the continent, has lost internet connection because someone cut the cord. Stuff like that happens. So, so these giant cables, they're very, very impressive. But, what was new and innovative 20 years ago is severely lacking, in today's standards. So you always need to lay down these new, these new lines that have better technology, fiber optics, and are, much faster compared to what was previously available. And here we have Google laying down their fastest one yet. So faster, and that is a consortium of 6 international companies together with its supplier NEC Corporation. Today announced the connection and end-to-end testing of a new trans-Pacific submarine cable system, which will be called appropriately the Faster Cable System. And it has been successfully completed and will start service today, actually, June 30th, 2016. So
what is it? The first thing that will be said is, Watson, come here quick. I need you.
Probably. But, looking at the bandwidth of this thing, you'll be able to say that and about 60 trillion other things at the same time.
Yeah.
This thing's going to be fast. So Faster, just going off the article here, saying that is the first trans-Pacific submarine cable system designed to deliver 60 terabits per second.
Oh my gosh.
Bandwidth using 6 fiber pair cable across the Pacific. So that's 60 terabits per second across an entire ocean.
The only limitation to that, you realize, is the speed of light itself. That's it.
Well, yeah, fiber optics, that is the ultimate, kind of speed, shortage, is that light has to travel through these little glass tubes, that the little glass fibers, and it's the receiving of these, little electrons is the data. So the speed of the electron or the speed of the light is your, is your stopping point.
Are you saying that the internet truly will be a series of tubes?
The internet is already a series of tubes, just very, very tiny little filament-sized tubes.
Okay.
So, yeah. So of course, they say that the cable system lands in Oregon in the United States, and the 2 landing points in Japan, namely Chiba and Mai prefectures. The system has extended connections to major hubs in the West, and so fastest, robust, and resilient connectivity to many neighboring cable systems extend the cable capacity beyond Japan to other Asian locations. So this is Faster's first trans-Pacific submarine cable system, and again, 60 terabits per second. Saying, and they have a quote here that we're going to wrap this up with, saying that this was the first cable built solely by the NEC Corporation, employing the latest 100 gigabit per second digital coherent optical transmission technology. There's a mouthful. And we are honored that the consortium entrusted us to build faster. Although we face many challenges, I am truly glad that we were able to overcome these and to welcome this day.
It's amazing.
So, yeah,
it was 100 gigabits per second. Those days was considered to be really fast, and now
right
60.
Well, yeah. I think that was the technology that they used.
Yeah.
Like in this cable, they use the 100 gigabit per second digital coherent optical transmission technology. Like that's the communication platform. But then they're using these fiber optic pairs so that they can simultaneously send 60 terabits. So one fiber is able to transfer 100 gigabits per second, and then they have whatever 60,000 divided by 1,000 might be like 600 or something like that. They have 600 of these fibers running through this one cable that lets them get that 60 terabits per second simultaneous capacity.
Wow.
So
incredibly fast.
Yeah, your connection to your friends over in Europe, these companies lay these big cables down, and the implication behind it is very obvious. You want Europe to be able to talk to America, and you want people sending their data through Europe to be able to talk to people in North America. But now it's up to because this was built by Faster, and this was obviously made by a private organization and a consortium, as they call themselves. Now it's their job to sell it to people to use. So they sell this thing to Google, they sell it to the Yahoos of the world, they sell it to all these different companies that need to send data very, very quickly in a dedicated line. Like it's not like someone set this up and this is for every individual person in Europe to use. Now they're going to take that 60 terabits per second and divide it up among their massive companies that will buy it. So it's things are about to get a lot quicker for some of your favorite services.
Yeah, exactly. That's truly amazing. Truly amazing stuff. It is. And it goes in. It goes online today. Which
start being used today. And again, like it's not. I don't want to give people the impression that it's like, oh, it's on today, so now everything I do online should be better, right?
No.
No. They need to sell it to companies who would then use it for their services.
Right.
So,
okay. How does it make you feel, Ben, to know that Samsung thinks you're ugly?
I knew it. I whenever I talked to them on the phone, they were very, hesitant to ask me out on a date. So, I knew something was there.
Yeah. Well, according to the story from BGR, Chris Smith, he says, Samsung Galaxy wielding selfie taker, that's you. He says, You're ugly. He says, I'm serious, and it's not my opinion either. It's Samsung's professional opinion about its customers who buy Galaxy phones in general, and that means you too. He says, you see, it appears that by default, the selfie camera on the Samsung phones has beautification features that make you look a lot better in pictures than you do in person. Now, while that's definitely a nice editing tool for photos, it's also very politically incorrect. Disrespectful is another word I'd use for it. That's what he says.
What?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He says,
See, I'm, and we're gonna get back to the article here in a second, but I'm completely against that. Like, when you buy a DSLR camera, when you buy any kind of dedicated camera taking tool, it comes let's say a television, not even a camera, let's say a television. When you buy it off the shelf at the store, assuming you're buying a floor model, they change those settings to make it look better, right?
Yeah, they do.
They're, Vizio or Sony or, insert TV maker here. They're not saying that these shows are ugly. They're saying that we can make them look better.
Well, first of all, these TVs are displayed usually in stores. I was going to say department stores, and stores where the lighting is very bright, possibly fluorescent lighting. And so the TV has to compete with the usually a normal environment, your television, your living room or your den, where it's much more dark. And so they have these like vivid modes that they turn on in these TVs to make them brighter to compensate for the additional amount of light. Otherwise, they're going to look faded.
I'm just saying that technology that displays images like phones, like televisions, like so on and so forth, they have settings in them that will enhance the picture for whatever setting you're in. And we're going to get into just what the beauty level is that Samsung has on its phone that these people are getting mad about. But when they say beauty level 8, that doesn't mean, oh, this person's so ugly, we got to crank this thing all the way up to almost maximum. They're saying we can make this look better if we turn this up to this setting. So that's he is obviously an editorial, and he says it's very politically incorrect and disrespectful. I say, it's just technology settings that are preset. It's not that big a deal.
Well, he says it might not be immediately apparent to phone users, and you can turn it off if you want to. The problem is the beauty face mode, and that's capital B, capital, the beauty face mode activates by default and can have a pretty big impact on photos. As Insider notes, the features let you make your face look slimmer and your eyes look bigger. Wow. Actually, a beauty blogger first noticed it. She was the author of the Goddess.
I'm sure many people noticed it. I just think a beauty blogger was the first one to bring it up.
And she took the Instagram to Angergram. Okay, Instagram to note her anger with Samsung. There's a new thing for service. Let's call it.
That's already Instagram. And by the way, if you're watching the video portion, we have the original debacle here, where the one on the left is the untouched one, and the one on the right is the one with the airbrushing and what have you.
She has little freckles on her nose.
She has some redness on her lips and freckles, of course, and some wrinkles across her forehead. Normal human features.
Right.
And the phone essentially smudged it all. If you've ever used Photoshop with the smudge tool, it smudged her skin all over to make it look more like one complexion, and it increased the size of her eyes. Like they kind of blew them up a little bit. Pretty subtle, but at the same time, kind of obvious.
Well, she said in her rant to Samsung, she said, wow, Samsung, when you get a brand new phone and you go to take a selfie and realize that the default setting on the front camera is automatically on beauty level 8, which evidently means seriously airbrushed face, this means everyone who gets a new Samsung phone and flicks the front camera on is automatically being told, hi, we're Samsung, and we think you look way better when we automatically airbrush your selfies for you 8 times 8. So she said, thanks, Samsung Mobile, for the vote of confidence. I think I'll keep my freckles and imperfections since this is how I look in 3D, and this is how all my friends see me in real life. I hope young girls are buying iPhones instead of Samsungs. Wait, do iPhones do this too? No, I don't think they do. To clarify, no apps here. This is Samsung's default front camera setting. Okay, so it's
nice bit of research she did
Yeah.
there. Calling out and then second guessing herself at the same time. Yeah, continue.
She says Samsung has no problem with this whatsoever. Apparently, the Samsung told Insider that at Samsung we offer a range of camera settings on our mobile phones for our customers to be able to choose to switch on or use. The beauty setting is one such setting that we know our customers love and has the option of being switched on or turned completely off, depending on personal preferences. Unquote. That statement completely ignores the fact that the beautification feature is turned on by default, which is Samsung's way of telling you that you're ugly. So, okay. I don't know if that's exactly what they're saying. He's kind of reading into that,
I will be the first to get up in arms about a lot of things with technology. The apparent love of mining personal information from every single person on Earth, collecting it into a big database, and selling it to the highest bidder. I will get behind you 100%. And I hate how, even my operating system has started doing this, let alone every app and web service I use. Not a fan. I hate the fact that everyone is trying to get you to subscribe to a service nowadays, where everything has to be tied onto any kind of continuous updating, and a one-off product is becoming rare and rarer. I have genuine grievances with technology. A feature that, to me, is as innocuous as, let's say, the flash feature on phones. When it's dark, you turn the flash on. When you have a selfie in front of you, you turn on this piece of software that can be turned off very, very simply.
Yeah.
There are better things to get angry about, some of which I've mentioned, but to take it personally, when Samsung sells how many millions of phones, hundreds of millions of phones, and for you to pick up that phone and take it personally, I don't know. Get mad, but don't take it personally. Don't sit there and think that this giant multi-billion-dollar corporation has said, well, Ben, you are looking particularly heinous lately, so we're going to crank you up to an 8, and you're going to look a little bit better because, we are storing all of your photos, and we don't want to look at ugly Ben. We want to look at good Ben. Don't take it personally, folks.
Well, that's good words of wisdom, but, she got bent out of shape.
She did. So,
But it was a more lovely shape after the Samsung photo process.
Ooh. So before we get our own little hate mafia in here, let us move on to now this one kind of caught me because keyboards, I've seen dozens of them.
Yes.
And more than dozens, tons of keyboards. It's hard to stand out when it's a basic computer input device.
But you love mechanical keyboards. You like the
I do love mechanical keyboards. They are very, very reliable. They have a long life expectancy, and they give you that tactile sensation that not a lot of keyboards that have the little rubber kind of foam. They don't have the same kind of thing.
Nope.
So but here's one that it caught my eye, and admittedly it's a Kickstarter project, but it had a buzzword in it, and I was like, I can't avoid that. So Das Keyboard, obviously something would do with German. Das Keyboard pitches cloud connected keyboard on Kickstarter.
Das Keyboard was the one that had that keyboard with where the keys there was nothing on them. They were blank. Remember that? We did a story on that years ago.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, they were the keys without the lettering on them.
Weird. So so Craig's apparently heard about them before.
Yep.
And I am drawing a complete blank, but they have a new computer coming available to Kickstarter. So blame DOS Keyboard for bringing the world of clicky keyed mechanical keyboards to your peaceful office. And again, this is from CNET and Mr. Justin Wu. And the author said he fell in love with the oddly satisfying typing feel myself, and haven't been able to go back to a regular keyboard since. Funny that he calls it a regular keyboard, since mechanical used to be the regular keyboard.
To me, yeah.
So,
yeah. All these are due to quote unquote improvements in keyboard technology is where we find ourselves today.
Right. So he should say that he wants to apologize to his coworkers for the noise, but it's about to get worse because there's a Kickstarter for the company again, DOS Keyboard, for its new cloud-connected mechanical keyboard, and has programmable LEDs on every single key.
Yeah.
So it's called the DOS Keyboard 5Q. Puts even more controls at your fingertips. It's the first input device that also outputs information using RGB LED that can be individually programmed in a virtual dashboard.
Cool.
Having a hard time imagining why you would want something like that. Yeah, so we're just gonna pull up the video right here while we talk about this. But yeah, so the keyboard makes an ad hoc connection to the cloud and pulls data from public APIs on the internet. So it's your job to map the lights to show the information in a visual pattern on the keyboard. So you can even track the status of projects over time using the color-coded display, and the buttons will shift hues to keep you updated on any changes. For example, you can program the keys in the number of rows to show the data as it changes in a bar graph format. And from what I'm picking up on this, it seems that you can select each individual key, and the keys can then update you whenever something happens that it will pull from. So let's say you get a new email, you can have your number pad, which is on the right side of the keyboard. You can have your number pad flash yellow whenever you get a new email, so that the notification is very, very visual, like it pops up on your keyboard. Or let's say you're tracking stocks, but you don't want to have a separate app for your stocks. You can have the lights on your keyboard correspond to stock prices for a particular stock, if they go down or if they go up, and your keyboard can go green or red correspondingly. So and again, every single key can be mapped to a different topic. Although from what they're showing, you don't really want to map every single key to a different response, because then I guess you just have tons of flashing keys that you really don't know what they're doing. But they select maybe a dozen different keys that all flash in unison whenever something goes on sale that you've been watching, or something important happens, and it flashes to alert you. And yeah, it's giving you visual feedback, not through your monitor, but through the key itself. And all this, again, is tied to the cloud, so it can be updated, not just things running on your system, but things happening all over the internet.
Yeah. It looks really cool. I mean, like one key just turns a different color than the other ones. It really stands out.
Like, it's not just like the key turns different color. Like, they can alert you to turn different shades, blink, stay solid color.
Right.
Lots of different things.
Just another way to alert you to something that you may not have noticed on your screen or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not even looking at your screen, if you're looking at your keyboard, especially. Or
right, and these these bright LEDs, they're going to be pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
So it's something I had never heard of from a keyboard before. So I thought it was pretty interesting. And again, if this does sound interesting to you, DOS Keyboard has a Kickstarter ongoing. And as of the time of us doing this article, they just went past their 100,000 goal with about 2 days into it.
Wow.
They're at 117,000 with just over 2 days gone.
So obviously there's a demand for this.
There is a demand. 885 backers already.
Wow.
And they still have 29 days to go.
Wow.
So I think they're going to get their funding to do this.
What was their goal? Did they say what their goal is?
Yeah, 100,000.
Oh,
and they've already collected 117,000. So, again, within 2 days, they've already met their goal.
Wow. Looks like a very cool keyboard. Maybe well, it's not available yet. Maybe it'll be
not available yet.
Yeah, exactly. But it's certainly.
And knowing Kickstarter, something that's available on Kickstarter and is in the pre-planning stages. When you buy something on Kickstarter, especially tech-oriented, it's going to be 6 months to a year before it actually ships out to its customers. Yeah. Although this has the added benefit of having a name brand company like DOS Keyboard behind it. So
Yes, they've been around for quite some time. It's a shame we can't get to all the stories. There was one here about the Arctic ozone hole is beginning to heal. Finally, some good news.
Yeah, some good environmental news.
Environmental news. As we here, evidently they're starting the Arctic ozone is healing, is beginning to show, and they had some pictures of that. Also, another good story is what media companies don't want you to know about ad blockers. Maybe we can do these
90 seconds
tomorrow or something in the days ahead, because they certainly are looking about some very, very interesting stories. Anyway, that about wraps up the show for us. Again, I want to thank John Carter from Canary being here with us in the first hour of the show. And again, you can listen to it on our archives. Coming up tomorrow, Tech 50 Plus is going to be here. Gary Kay is going to be joining us. All right. He's a interesting gentleman. He's been on the show. He's now one of our Computer America correspondents. We're going to be talking about, could driving one day be illegal? Wow.
I think so.
And has Apple missed the boat on virtual reality? And will Amazon be the dominant player in smart homes? And also, he wants to talk about net neutrality. Really interesting.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. So Gary MK, founder and chief content officer of Tech 50 Plus, is going to be joining us on tomorrow's show. Anyway, that wraps it up. Again, thanks to all of you for being here with us. And Ben and I will see you here, same time, same place. So until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good one, everyone.
10 seconds.
Woohoo!
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, again, thanks for watching our live video stream, everybody, and have a great day. And Ben and I will see you tomorrow here with Tech 50 Plus and Gary Kay. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.